The San Francisco 49ers are facing a major problem with Brock Purdy, and that problem is his surgery was just delayed. His doctor went in and said there was too much inflammation to actually do the surgery, so now the plan is early March, which once again pushes back Brock Purdy's starting period, meaning Trey Lance will be the one getting most of the reps in OTAs, probably even preseason. But before we jump into Trey Lance, I want to talk about Brock Purdy's surgery and how it can go. If they go in there and it goes well, their recovery time's about 6 months, and that's having an internal brace, which I'll pull up a diagram right now. So on this diagram, you can kind of see there's a brace connecting the elbow together, that little blue thing, and that kind of helps the ligament reattach to the bone and heal itself. The other way is a Tommy John surgery, and that's where you grab a tendon from another part of your body, usually your leg, and then go ahead and attach it as your new UCL. And Brock Purdy said there was a chance there would be a hybrid, so I'm assuming some new ligament and then an internal brace. I don't know exactly how that works, but that's something Brock Purdy said might be the case, which would actually push back his start time 7 to 9 months rather than that 6 months the 49ers are hoping for, which would mean Trey Lance would be basically the starter for most of the year. And this is assuming Brock Purdy is actually able to have a surgery in early March. If the swelling doesn't go down again, of course it's going to have to be pushed back even farther, which would then increase the chances once again for Trey Lance. And this is what I kind of want to touch on just briefly in this video as well, and that's Trey Lance and what the San Francisco 49ers are really going to do in this quarterback position, because when Brock Purdy was playing towards the end of the year, I thought they had their franchise quarterback for a long time in Brock Purdy. And maybe they still do, but right now he's not healthy. So what are they going to do for this upcoming season? So let's go over what the 49ers are going to do in their quarterback position. So here's a major divide. A lot of fans are saying Trey Lance is a bust, which actually may be the case, but it may also be the case Trey Lance is the next Steve Young. Here's the thing, we can't really tell yet. He's played in like a couple of games in the NFL, and one of those was a monsoon game, another one he snapped his ankle super early. So I don't know what he is yet. I can't really say he's a bust or not, but I have seen a lot of things I'm super excited for about Trey Lance. The first major thing is his arm. I know a lot of people say his running ability, but his arm is actually pretty phenomenal, especially on those deep passes. But really, Trey Lance has all the ability to be a top 10 quarterback in the league if he just develops. And I think a lot of that development starts with Brian Griese. And Brian Griese is the quarterback's coach for the San Francisco 49ers. And he was never a quarterback's coach before last season, but he was able to actually capitalize extremely well on Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, and I would say even at Trey Lance at the start, even though it was a limited sample size. There were a couple improvements I saw in Jimmy Garoppolo's game. First, he would throw the ball away more frequently than he did in the past. I think this has to be attributed to Brian Griese. Another thing is, I noticed Jimmy Garoppolo making more plays by stepping up in the prop pocket and then throwing it downfield. He did that a couple times, and he also used his mobility a little bit, even though Jimmy Garoppolo is not the most mobile guy. And I really think you have to notice Jimmy Garoppolo making that jump when Brian Griese came. He didn't do that with any other quarterback coach. It was only during this year. So I really wonder how much Brian Griese had to do with that. I think it was a ton. And including Brock Purdy, a guy that Griese helped draft as well as develop into the player he became, Griese looks like a really solid quarterback coach right now. I think he's really instrumental in just pointing out mental flaws in the quarterback game, and he sees the game from a quarterback's perspective. So I think that's extremely helpful, and also just to level out the quarterback. And Brock Purdy even spoke about this a couple times last year. But if I'm honest, I think Brian Griese has his hands full with Trey Lance, because Trey Lance just doesn't need mental stuff pointed out to him. He also needs development as a quarterback, like the physical skill set, how to throw the ball, how to do his footwork, and I'm not sure how much of that Brian Griese can offer. So I hope Trey Lance does try to work on his footwork at least this offseason, because he's already said he wouldn't work on his throwing motion. Maybe he meant just he'll work on his footwork, which I totally hope he does. But I do believe having Brock Purdy pushing Trey Lance and just having Trey Lance have to look over his shoulder or Brock Purdy look over his shoulder is good for both of them because it's going to get the most out of the quarterback position for the San Francisco 49ers. Neither of these guys were anointed the position, which I think is actually good because they kind of both have to earn it now and really show which one's the better quarterback. And Lance gets the first shot at that, so we'll see how that plays out during training camp. What I'm looking for is more decisive throws and more accuracy from Lance. Those are the main struggles he's had. He also struggles reading an NFL defense. So if he's able to work on those things, hopefully through film review and then also footwork, I think he can really develop into a plus quarterback. But if I'm being totally honest, I envision whenever Brock Purdy comes back to take his job back. I think Brock Purdy just has way more experience than Trey Lance, that Trey Lance just now can't catch up, and Brock Purdy now even has the trust of all of his teammates, which is something Trey Lance really never had. Everyone's saying they want Brock Purdy to start out in the open right now. I kind of feel bad for Trey Lance. Do you guys think we should trade Trey Lance? Because right now, if I'm honest, as a selfish 49ers fan, I want to keep Trey Lance around because I don't know how long Brock Purdy's injury is going to take, at least for this year. Maybe next year we may be able to trade Trey Lance, but I just imagine his value is going to be nothing by the time the 49ers are ready to trade him because he's been sitting for such a long time. So I imagine most teams would just want a rookie quarterback at that point. And there's another point to this whole Trey Lance and trading him conversation or not trading him that I want to get to real quick. And that's, I think Trey Lance is a better quarterback than the San Francisco 49ers could sign or draft. And the San Francisco 49ers are probably going to go through a quarterback. I mean, they went through 3 this year, so the chances of a quarterback even getting hurt just for a couple games is pretty high. So I would like the San Francisco 49ers having Trey Lance in there rather than a guy like Josh Johnson. Finally, to round out the quarterback room for the San Francisco 49ers, I would really like to see them draft a quarterback. And I think they should draft a quarterback really every single year because you can hit on one of these guys and then trade them away or whatever. I mean, if you have more quarterbacks in the building, it's better, especially for the 49ers because we went through 4 and that still wasn't enough to get through the season. And in the 7th round, I really would like the San Francisco 49ers to pick up Clayton Tune. This guy plays in Houston and he has a ton of experience. He actually started playing in 2018 and played a bunch of games in his college career, making him kind of like Brock Purdy, who started 4 years. But now that I just gave you all my thoughts on the San Francisco 49ers and that Brock Purdy whole situation going on and what it means for Trey Lance and maybe what the San Francisco 49ers should do at the quarterback position going forward, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you guys think this injury to Brock Purdy is really that big of a deal? Do you think that him having his surgery delayed is a big deal, or am I making too much out of it? I really just want to know what you guys are thinking because I like having a soundboard on YouTube. It's really cool to be able to talk all you guys. I really am appreciating all the support. I would also appreciate it if you guys subscribe, like, and share this video. It means a ton. Thank you guys so much.